Recording in progress.
Good morning. The City of Boston Zoning Board of Appeal for July 26, 2022 is now in session. This hearing is being conducted in accordance with the applicable provisions of the open meeting law, including the updated provisions enacted by the legislature. The new law allows the board to continue its practice of holding virtual meetings until March 2023. This hearing of the board is being held remotely via the Zoom webinar event platform. This hearing is also being live streamed. In order to ensure this hearing of the board is open to the public, members of the public may access this hearing through telephone and video conferencing. The information for connecting to this hearing is listed on today's hearing agenda, which is posted on the public notices page of the city's website, boston.gov. Members of the public will enter the virtual hearing as attendees, which means you will not see yourself on the screen and you will be muted throughout, unless administratively unmuted when asked to comment. Board members, applicants, and their attorneys or representatives will participate in the hearing as panelists, and they will appear alongside the presentation material when speaking. Panelists are strongly encouraged to keep their video on while presenting to the board. As with our in-person meetings, comments in support will be followed by comments in opposition. The order of comments is as follows: elected officials, a representative of elected officials, and then members of the public. The chair may limit the number of people called upon to offer comment and the time for commenting as time constraints require. For that reason, the board prefers to hear from members of the public who are most impacted by a project. That is, those individuals who live closest to the project. If you wish to comment on an appeal, please click the raise hand button along the bottom of your screen in the Zoom webinar platform. Click it again and your hand should go down. When the host sees your hand, you will receive a request to unmute yourself. Select yes and you should be able to talk. If you are connected to the hearing by telephone, please press *9 to raise and lower your hand. You must press *6 to unmute yourself after you receive the request from the host. Again, for those of you connected by telephone, please press *9 to raise and lower your hand and *6 to unmute yourself. Those called upon to comment will be asked to state their name and address first, and then can provide their comment. In the interest of time and to ensure that you have enough time to do so, please raise your hand as soon as Mr. Fortune reads the address into the record. Do not raise your hand before the relevant address is called, or the meeting host will not know to call on you at the appropriate time. These instructions will be repeated periodically throughout the meeting. Just a reminder, if somebody has already stated either the concerns related to your support or your opposition, please put your name and address on the record and just state that you're in support or in opposition. This is your opportunity to give us new information, so please use your time wisely. Okay, let's go to the roll call. Mr. Fortune.
Good morning, Madam Chair.
Good morning, Mr. Ehrlich.
Here.
Ms. Dong.
Morning, Madam Chair.
Good morning, Mr. Ruggiero.
Good morning, Madam Chair.
Good morning, Ms. Better.
Morning, Madam Chair.
Good morning, Mr. Hampton.
Morning, Madam Chair.
Good morning. Mr. Fortune, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The first order of business is the approval of the hearing minutes of June 16th, 2022 and June 21st of 2022. We need a motion.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Ehrlich,
Aye.
Fortune,
Aye.
Dong,
Aye.
Ruggiero,
Aye.
Better,
Aye.
Araujo, also aye, motion carries.
Calling the first extension, calling BOA 104-4130, 218 to 220 Old Colony Ave. Name and address for the record, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, George Moranci. I'm an attorney with a business address of 350 West Broadway in South Boston.
Thank you, Mr. Moranci. Regarding 218-220 Old Colony Road, the board originally granted this relief on July 21st of 2020, and it expired on July 21st of 2022. COVID tolling does not apply to this relief because it was granted after the start of the state of emergency. This is the applicant's first request for an extension. I recommend the board grant that extension. The board finds it appropriate under the circumstances.
Madam Chair, members, Madam Chair, it's for you.
So, Mr. Moranci, this is a request for an extension, for a one-year extension until 7/21/23.
Yes, but I do need to point out for the record, this matter was approved by the board July 21, 2020. The date of entry of the decision was August 21, 2020. So my understanding is that the decision is valid for a period of 24 months from the date of entry. So I do not believe that it has expired.
I see, got it. Mr. Broom, any comment?
That's correct, Madam Chair.
So it's 8/21/23, okay?
I'll make a motion for a one-year extension from the date of expiration.
May I have a second? Fortune,
Aye.
Ehrlich,
Aye.
Dong,
Aye.
Ruggiero,
Aye.
Better,
Aye.
Araujo, also in support, motion carries. Expiration date is 8/21/23.
Thank you.
Calling the next case for extension, calling BOA 770-654, 1271 to 1275 Boylston Street. Name and address for the record, please.
Hi, my name is Brian Judge. I'm with the law firm of Boltzmann Stores located at 400 Atlantic Ave in Boston.
Thank you, Mr. Judge. Regarding 1271 to 1275 Boylston Street, this is a request to extend the board proviso that sunsets prior relief to the Verb Hotel related to the use of their parking lot. COVID tolling applies to the sunset proviso because it existed prior to the COVID state of emergency. The original expiration of the sunset proviso is April 10th of 2023, but the new toll expiration date is July 15th of 2024. I recommend that the board confirm for the record that this is the new expiration date for that sunset proviso.
Ms. Broom, why is this parking lot, why is there an extension on this?
Madam Chair, this is at the request of the applicant, they submitted a one requesting the board send the sunset proviso for this parking lot. I know it doesn't expire until next year, but the applicant wanted to just come back here just because it's a little bit out of the ordinary, the sunset proviso rather than traditional extension of the relief. So this would be something that makes the relief itself expire rather than just have 2 years to exercise it. It does exist prior to the start of the state of emergency. The language you get COVID that's holding.
So the date is, what is the date again?
July 15th of 2024.
Okay, I want to make sure that, for sunset clauses like this, that we could give some extra thought about the tolling, because I totally understand about the relief, but if for something like this, anyway, so is there a motion for for an extension?
I'll make a motion to confirm that the proviso is in effect until, what was that date? July
15th of 2024, Mr. Chairman.
July 15th of 2024.
I'll second that motion, Secretary.
Fortune,
Aye.
Ehrlich,
Aye.
Dong,
Aye.
Ruggiero,
Aye.
Better,
Aye.
Araujo also in support, motion carries.
Calling the lot's extension, calling DOA 578-7665 Jackson Avenue. Name and address for the record, please.
Hi, I'm Mike Delarusso. I'm here to represent Charlie Kim for 5 Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. Delarusso. Regarding 5 Jackson Avenue, the board originally granted this relief on July 29th of 2016, but it was appealed to Superior Court. The case was not dismissed until January 30th of 2020. With litigation tolling, this relief would not have expired until January 30th of 2022. However, the applicant returned to the board in 2021 and then received an extension of their relief until April 27th of 2022. That extension was unnecessary because of the litigation tolling. COVID tolling also applies to this relief. With COVID tolling, this relief does not expire until May 7th of 2023. I recommend that the board confirm for the record that May 7th, 2023 is the new expiration date of this relief. That date encompasses both litigation and COVID tolling. The applicant can return on that date to request their first necessary extension.
I'd like to make a motion to confirm the date of expiration of this, inclusive of all tolling, is May 7th, 2023.
Second.
Fortune,
Aye.
Ehrlich,
Aye.
Dong. Aye. Ruggiero,
Aye.
Better,
Aye.
Araujo also aye, motion carries.
Calling the board final arbiter, calling case BOA 831-064, 7 Madeline Street. Name and address for the record, please.
Stephen Tolman, 17 Madeline Street, Brighton, Mass.
Mr. Tolman, good to see you. Can you please tell us why you're here for board final arbiter?
So that I could go up, extend it. I got an extension previously to raise the roof of the back of the garage, and when my wife and I looked at it, it made more sense just to go up and make the smaller bedroom upstairs larger, because it's actually it's a 2-bedroom cape, and they have that small one. So the builder also said that it makes more sense if you're going to change the roof, you should go right up and make the second the smaller bedroom larger.
Okay. Okay, hold on a minute. Ms. Better, have you had a chance to review the plans?
Yes, I have, Madam Chair.
Any concerns?
No, not at all.
May I have a motion, please?
I'd like to
Motion to approve.
Second.
With continued VPDA design review?
Sure.
Okay, Fortune,
Aye.
Ehrlich,
Aye.
Dong. Aye. Ruggiero,
Aye.
Better,
Aye.
Araujo also aye, so motion carries. Good luck.
Thank you.
Calling the next case, calling BOA 103-3475, 10 Highgate Street. Name and address for the record, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Attorney Jeff Drago with Drago and Toscano with the business address of 11 Beacon Street. Here on behalf of the applicant for board final arbiter, City Realty, Josh Fetterman, and I also have Dan Artigis from Embark, the architects. The reason we were requesting board final arbiter goes back to the approved project from February 4th, 2020. At that hearing, we were approved for a height of 6 stories, 71 feet. As the plans progressed, it became apparent that the existing conditions measurement was not accurate, and as a result, the building was actually 18 inches higher in its existing condition on the measurement. So nothing else structurally in the building would change, but we are seeking relief for that additional height.
So if it's not 71 feet, what is it?
It would be 72 feet, 6 inches, Madam Chair.
72 feet, 6 inches.
Correct.
Ms. Better, you had a chance to review the plan?
Madam Chair, I have, and I don't see any issues.
May I have a motion, please?
Motion to approve. With continued design review.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Fortune,
Aye.
Ehrlich,
Aye.
Dong. Aye. Ruggiero,
Aye.
Better,
Aye.
Araujo also in support, so motion carries with
Thank you.
approval with design review.
Madam Chair, it's Jeff.
Yes.
I had a question about the extensions.
Yes?
Is this the board's process now, that anything with the sunset clause is just going to be an extension? Because there are several of them
I know
downtown for parking lots and even cannabis establishments.
Exactly,
So-
and that is why I kind of had an issue with that, because I do believe that they have to stick to their sunset clause, and I do believe that they have to put a rationale on the record for an extension.
Yeah, I just wanted to make clear whether or not the agency should not be looking forward to seeing any more of these parking lot or parking garage extensions, or if they're going to be dealt with purely through the Board of Appeal through their own extension process.
No, we need to go through process. This one, as you could tell, took me a little bit by surprise, but we will need it to go through process so that every kind of evaluation that we put in place.
We didn't extend anything. We just confirmed the date based on the total.
No, we did extend it for 1 year. Because it expires 7/15/23, and we extended it to 7/15/24, and this is on 1271 to 1275 Boylston.
Madam Chair, this is Tom. The supervisor actually expires in April of 2023. With the polling, it's an additional 462 days.
No, I got it. But if there is a, this is not, if there is, we should talk about this offline, but Jeff, Ms. Hampton, I completely agree with you. Let's just move on with our cases, but thank you for raising it in the public realm.
Calling the next case for groundwater, case BOA 1318869, 82 Endicott Street. This is a change of occupancy of 3 apartments and 1 store to 3 apartments. This is a roof deck, private top floor unit, accessed by a head house. The violation, Article 32, Section 32-4, ECOD. Name and address for the record, please.
Greg McCarthy for 82 Endicott Street.
Thank you. Is Mr. Simonella there?
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Christian Simonelli, Boston Groundwater Trust, and we have both letters from the applicant.
Madam Chair, we have the letters as well.
May I have a motion, please?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, Fortune,
Aye.
Ehrlich,
Aye.
Dong,
Aye.
Ruggiero,
Aye.
Better,
Aye.
Araujo, also an approval, motion carries. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
We're going to call the 9:30 hearings for any deferrals or withdrawals. This is for the 9:30 hearings only. Any deferrals or withdrawals, give me the address first, please. Hearing none, I'll call the first case, calling
There's a
BOA.
raised hand. There's a raised hand here. Second. Oh, Connor, that's you. Did you mean to raise your hand? Oh, never mind. Yeah, we're all set. Sorry about that. That was fine.
Calling the first case, BOA 1271035, 62 Putnam Street. This is a change of occupancy from a single-family home to a two-family home, also to an exterior renovation, including a rear spiral stair, and extend living space into the basement for Unit 1, with the proposed addition to the right side of the dwelling. The violation is Article 32, Section 4 of the G-Cod. Article 53, Section 56, off-street parking is insufficient. Article 53, Section 9, insufficient additional lot area per unit. Article 53, Section 9, excessive FAR. Article 53, Section 9, insufficient usable open space per unit. Article 53, Section 9, insufficient rear yard setback. Name and address for the record, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Attorney Jeff Drago with Drago and Toscano with the business address of 11 Beacon Street, here on behalf of the owner, developer, and architect Philip Seema. I just wanted to clarify the record because the description still is incorrect from what we now have and what Ms. Better would have. The proposal now is to change the occupancy from a one-family to a two-family home. So that's been reduced from 4.
So does that change any of the violations?
It does, Madam Chair. If I could just finish also, because something else changed, it's going to change those violations as well. There is no longer a third-story addition. It's just to infill the second floor. And as you mentioned, in doing all this, we do eliminate height violation, lot area violation, use violation, and G-cod is not applicable in this area. That was actually removed in our most updated refusal. This isn't even in a G-cod area.
Yeah, okay. So this is article, I don't see G-cod, I see iPod, but let's go ahead. Tell us about the proposed size of the units.
Sure. So the building will remain intact, so it's an existing structure.
Madam Chair, Mr. Drago, can I interrupt you for 2 seconds here? What I read off was the updated July 20th, 2022 letter. Has that changed since, you're saying?
It was just an accidental, we had emailed and spoke to Frank D'Amato, the plans examiner, who removed the G-cod violation, so it's just not applicable. So.
Okay, because I read into the record from a single-family home to a two-family home.
Correct, but on the agenda, Mr. Secretary, it still said 4, so I just wanted to make sure that was clarified if the mailing went out or whatnot on the agenda.
Yeah, if it was advertised. Let's go ahead, Mr. Drago.
Okay, sure. So the garden level, Madam Chair, there's a significant grade change on the building as it exists. Unit 1 would have a lower level and an upper level. As you can see, that's the existing structure right there. The total square footage would be 1,410 square feet for that bi-level unit. It would have 2 bedrooms, 2 bath with 9-foot ceiling height in the lower level, and then it would have 1 bedroom, 1 bath, kitchen, living area in the upper level with a rear patio. The second unit, this is a 2-unit building, is 837 square foot, 2 bedroom, 1 bath with kitchen and then a rear patio as well. It also has green space in the back that would be shared by the 2 condo owners of the building.
And I'm assuming that it's impossible to provide parking?
It is, Madam Chair, correct, yeah.
Okay. How are the plans, Ms. Better?
Madam Chair, the plans are adequate.
Any questions from the board? Is anybody here to speak either in support or in opposition?
Yes, good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Natalia Benitez with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. Our office hosted 2 abutters meetings for this project, one in March 22nd and the other one on April 27th. This project was originally proposed as 4 units, came down to 3 and then 2. So abutters were very pleased with the 2 units, the design and characteristics of the colors presented. The applicant also met with the Eagle Hill Civic Association in March and May of this year. The group voted to support the project 14-2. Our office also received 6 letters of support, and the applicant has worked with the community all throughout the process by lowering the density, maintaining the character and the original features of the house, like color scheme and roof design. At this moment, our office would like to defer judgment to the board. Thank you.
Hey, Madam Chair, I have no raised hands at the moment. Oh, I'm sorry, there is Sebastian.
I'm sorry, Madam Chair, Secretary here, we do have 7 support letters.
Sebastian, are you looking to give testimony here? If so, can you state your name and address for the record, please?
Yeah, for sure. My name is Sebastian. I'm the Boston liaison for Councilor Coletta. I'm here again in support for this project on behalf of Councilor Coletta. We have also received multiple letters on support from the community.
Thank you. Welcome. Mr. Hampton, the BPDA recommends design review when it was proposed as a 4-family. Is it necessary now that it's a 2-family?
No, the only reason, I don't think so. Our only concern was the rear yard setback, but I mean,
yeah,
we don't need design review just for that, no.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve.
For a second.
Second.
Fortune?
Aye.
Oleg?
Aye.
Dong?
Aye.
Ruggiero?
Aye.
Better?
Aye.
Araujo also in support, so motion carries.
Thank you, members.
Thank you very much. Calling the next case, calling BOA 132-0241, 17 Concord Street. This is to confirm occupancy of the one family. It's a full gut renovation, interior extension of living space to the basement, new construction of a rear second story addition, new rear front facing shed dormers, an existing third floor, and a new first floor open air rear deck. Violation Article 62, Section 25, roof structure restrictions. Name and address for the record, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, my name is Patrick Sweeney. I'm an attorney with Morrissey Sweeney, 261 Main Street, Charlestown. Here today representing Allison and Michael Weber, the owners of the property. Madam Chair, members of the board, the Weber family is looking to expand this marginally. I believe there's 377 additional square feet that will be added. The issues that were raised in public meetings.
Well, let me ask you, Mr. Sweeney.
Yes.
So tell us about the living space in the basement.
The living space in the basement will be a family room, Your Honor. They have young children.
Okay, got it. And,
okay.
And since their violation is roof structure restrictions, tell us about what's going on up there.
Yes, Madam Chair. The roof structure violations are the change in profile. They're having dormers on the front and on the rear. Those were brought to the attention of the applicant by a couple of abutters. They have shrunk down both of those dormers, and at this point in time, we have letters of support from the abutter on the left and the abutter on the right.
Okay, hold on, please, Mr. Sweeney.
Yep.
How are the plans, Ms. Better?
Madam Chair, the plans are adequate. I just wanted confirmation on the height of the ceiling at the basement and that they're level at the dormers.
Madam Chair, I would ask, Tim Pingree is on as a panelist. Tim, can you answer that? Unmute yourself.
Sure, just one moment, let me confirm.
Mr. Pingree, come on, unmute yourself and tell us what the floor to ceiling height is in the basement. While he's doing that, any other questions from the board?
Yeah, also, in addition to floor to ceiling height, it would be helpful to know the floor to grade height. It looks like most of the basement is below grade.
Okay, so while Mr. Pingree is looking it up, let's get testimony. Is anybody here to speak either in support or in opposition of this proposal?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board.
Connor?
Yep, Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. At this time, our office would like to defer judgment to the board. We held an abutters meeting on May 2nd. Concerns regarding the height, size, and dormers were addressed by the applicant and development team. The applicant has worked closely with the neighborhood, and so far our office received no letters of support or opposition, although at the abutters meeting, one abutter did verbally indicate their support. With that, we defer to the board. Thank you.
Madam Chair, Secretary, here we have 4 support letters.
Madam Chair.
Ms. Ambassador, anybody else?
Madam Chair, I have no additional raised hands.
Okay, Mr. Pingree, you have a few questions to answer. Let's go.
84 inches clear in both the basement and on the 3rd floor.
And Mr. Alex?
Floor to grade.
Sorry?
Floor to grade in the basement.
It is 3'9".
The drawing looks like it's more, but.
Okay. Mr. Hampton, what was the BPDA's recommendation?
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. We recommended approval with design review. It's in the neighborhood design overlay district.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve with design review.
Is there a second?
Second.
Fortune?
Aye.
Owen?
Opposed.
Dawn?
Aye.
Ruggiero?
Aye.
Vedder?
Aye.
Araujo, aye. Motion carries. And also to inform all participants, we have a 6-member board, and you need 5 members in support for your case to be approved. Also, if given that fact, if you would like to request an administrative deferral, you are welcome to do so. Okay, let's move to the next case.
Calling the next case, calling BOA 134-6292, 101 to 117 Atlantic Avenue. This is a change of occupancy of 5,577 square feet, the former ground floor restaurant, the living room, to KinderCare Daycare Center, and renovate and connect to an adjacent existing 1,548 square foot daycare center. The violation Article 54, Section 12. The daycare center is conditional use. Name and address for the record, please.
Good morning, William Ferrullo, Miller, Cookie, and Miller at 28 State Street on behalf of the proponent.
Go ahead, Mr. Ferrullo.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. We are before you asking to convert space in the Mercantile Wharf building, which is the northern waterfront of the Granite Bluff, that area. And this space, as indicated, had been a full-service restaurant. KinderCare operates that smaller space to the right of it. Currently, they've been there for nearly 20 years now. Additionally, they have other space in the building at the far end. This would allow them to join the space, create a larger space, and actually be able to add 26 more children to their roles.
Sorry, Mr. Ferrullo, what is the total number of kids then?
The total would bring it to 68. It is currently 42.
Okay, 42 to 68 kids, okay. And we know that this needs approval from the state as a daycare facility. I'm assuming it meets Chapter 99 requirements as a public space of public accommodation. Let's see, how are the plans, Ms. Vedder?
Madam Chair, the plans are adequate. I did have a question regarding accessibility. Do you currently have any accessibility to the daycare center?
Yes, the main building has a center entrance which is fully handicap accessible from the handicap side. So you see the atrium on the right of that picture. You'd be able to access through the atrium.
Okay, thank you. I just didn't see any accessible entrances in the expansion, so thanks for answering that.
But I do think that's important. In case of an emergency, is there other accessible spaces if you have children who need that?
As far as the rest of the exits, involve stairs, but there's multiple openings into the atrium. If you look at the plan, you'll see that there's multiple ways of exiting the space into the atrium, the main part of the building, and then out the main exit entrance.
Got it. Okay. Any questions from the board? Is anybody here to either speak in support or in opposition of this proposal?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. At this time, the Mayor's Office would like to defer judgment to the board. Our office held an abutters meeting on June 6th. From my understanding, no concerns were raised. NURA, which is the active civic association in that area, felt that the applicant did not need to come and present to their board. They wished them the best and offered their support as well. With that, we defer to the board. Thank you.
Madam Chair, I have no raised hands.
May I have a motion?
Sorry, Madam Chair, Secretary, we do have one letter of support. There was just some concern about idling vehicles from the applicant. I mean, I'm not the applicant, the person who wrote the letter of support.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's being addressed with the community.
Okay, let's get a motion.
Motion approved.
Is there a second?
I do.
Go ahead,
Sorry.
Ms. Vedder.
I do want to recommend that the applicant does reach out to to the neighbors, because I did read that in the letter, some concerns regarding delivery of vehicles and engines being on for a period of time.
Okay, so we have a motion for approval. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I'm sorry. I keep going back into my bad habit. Mr. Fortune?
Aye.
Oleg?
Aye.
Dong?
Aye.
Ruggiero?
Aye.
Better?
Aye.
Araujo also in support, so motion carries with a strong recommendation to reach out to neighbors to address all traffic and drop-off issues. Good luck.
Calling the next case, calling BOA 132-8776, 121 St. Vital Street. This is to renovate the top floor of Unit 4 to relocate kitchen, recapture formerly interior space, and refinish the existing deck area. The violations, Article 41, Section 5. The FAR proposed exceeds 2 addition proposed exceeds 45 feet in height. And Article 41, Section 6, rooftop additions. The addition proposed exceeds 45 feet in height. Name and address for the record.
Hi, my name is Derek Tyler. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of Sleeping Dog Properties located at 1745 Washington Street in the South End.
Tell us what's being proposed here.
On the unit number 4 is split between 2 floors, level 4 and level 5. The level 5, they have a roof deck and they face the rear alleyway, where the level 5 actually faces St. Vital Street. So the back, we are looking to add on 217 square feet, basically to the left side of the building. You can see where we are proposing to include a kitchen, and that basically the small corner in the bottom there is the proposed addition. In speaking with
Please back up. Yes, so this is the addition would be in proximity of the kitchen.
That's correct. The line going horizontal where it shows the window, that's the current demising wall, and the whole back is existing roof deck. So we're proposing to include the livable space for a kitchen.
Okay, how are the plans, Ms. Better?
Madam Chair, the plans are adequate.
Any questions from the board? Is anybody here to speak either in support or in opposition?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. The board knows we've had a lot of turnover with staff. We don't have a lot of information on the community process. I can say that our office has not received any recent letters of support or opposition and aren't aware of any concerns at this time. With that, we defer to the board. Thank you.
Madam Chair, if I could add, we did have a new...
Please, I just want to hear from Ms. Thomas, from Ms. Bathler.
Yeah, Madam Chair, I have no raised hands, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Hampton, what's the BPDA's recommendation?
Thank you, Madam Chair. We recommended approval. I think this falls under the jurisdiction of landmarks, so we'll kick it to them.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Let's just see. Fortune?
Aye.
Oleg?
Aye.
Dong?
Aye.
Ruggiero?
Aye.
Better?
Aye.
Araujo also aye, so motion carries. Good luck.
Great, thank you.
Calling the next case, calling BOA 115-2699, 18 Greenwich Street. This is to repair and replace 3 rear decks and extend room. The violations, Article 9, Section 1, reconstruction and extension of a non-conforming building. Article 65, Section 9, insufficient side yard setback. Name and address for the record, sir.
Hi, Paul, can you hear us?
Hello?
Yes, yeah.
Please go ahead, put your name and address on the record and tell us what's being proposed.
Hi, so my name is Kim Nguyen. So I would like to ask one more room for my 2 daughters, and I would like to replace 3 rear deck. Keep check for my tenant too.
So this is a 2-family?
Not three family, ma'am.
It's a 3-family and a 2-family district. You want to add an additional room and replace the decks.
Yes.
Ms. Better, how are the plans?
Madam Chair, the plans are adequate.
I had a quick glance at the parking. Did you see how that works? Does it work fine?
Yes, I didn't see any issues.
Okay. Any questions from the board? Is anybody here to speak either in support or in opposition of this proposal?
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Kevin Chen here from the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. We held an abutters meeting on May 23rd, 2022. We received no concern from the community, and Fuse Corner Civic Association is in support for this matter. At this point, our office would like to defer judgment to the board. Thank you.
Hey, Madam Chair, I have no raised hands.
Let's see, Mr. Hampton.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We recommended approval. We don't believe we need design review on this unless Ms. Better feels otherwise.
No, I don't think so.
So do I have a motion?
Good morning, Madam Chair. Madam
Yes,
Chair,
motion.
This is Joe McEachran with City Council at Frank Baker's office. We'd like to go on record in support of the applicant.
Thank you. May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, I'd like to put a motion forward of approval.
Is there a second? Fortune?
Aye.
Oleg?
Aye.
Dong?
Aye.
Ruggiero?
Aye.
Better?
Aye.
Araujo also in support, so motion carries. Good luck.
Calling the next case, calling BOA 116-7771, 15 Parkman Street. This is erect a 4-family home. The violation is Article 65, Section 8. 4-family is forbidden. Article 65, Section 41, off-street parking is insufficient. Article 65, Section 41, off-street parking design, parking space is minimal. Article 65, Section 9, the number of allowed stories has been exceeded. Article 65, Section 9, excessive FAR. Name and address for the record, please.
Yes, good morning. This is Attorney Joseph Feaster. The internet gods have knocked my power out, so I'm calling it on my phone, and I do apologize to the board. So good morning, Mr. Fortune, members of the board. Joseph Feaster from the law firm of Dane Torpy, 175 Federal Street, Suite 1500, Boston.
Go ahead, Mr. Feaster.
All right, thank you very much, Madam Chair. My client has submitted an application to build a 4-family residence on this property at 15 Parkman Street. While there is a violation that's listed as far as parking, that has been corrected, but before I have the architect Ben Lee speak to this particular matter, I wanted to give the board a sense, because it's going to be some comments mentioned regarding the community process, and I would like to set the stage for that, if I might, Madam Chair. Is that okay?
Yes, please hustle along.
Okay, I will hustle along for sure. In this particular case, my client met on 2 occasions, both with the Fields Corner Neighborhood Association, and then later on with St. Mark's. And St. Mark's, the last meeting was in January of 2022. They were told by Fields Corner that amongst Fields Corner Association and St. Mark's, that St. Mark's will take the odd number side of the street, etc. My client met with them, with St. Mark's at that particular time in January. During the earlier meetings that they had during 2021, they made some changes to that which are reflected in the drawings which you have. There was some discussion only, there were no changes made from the January 26th meeting with St. Mark's. However, my client, and I wasn't involved in the community process, had sent a letter in May based upon somewhat conflicting conversations between the Board of Appeals
Sorry,
and the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services.
Mr. Feaster, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I realize that you might have missed the earlier part of the meeting if you weren't on your phone, but this is a 6-member board, and you need 5 members in support.
Okay, I will, yes,
So
I did miss that, but yes, but in terms of, I will still go forward if you don't mind, Madam Chair.
Okay, yes, please go ahead.
Thank you. what I would just simply say, there may be a question raised about whether the plans submitted to St. Mark's were different than the ones that are here, and I'll have that presented to the board. Which the board has, I will have the architect Ben Lee speak to that, but I'll say at this point that that is not the case. Additionally, we have 15 letters of support. Many of the abutters to this particular property. There is also in this neighborhood a mixed use of housing going from single families, 2 families, 3 families, and even units that are more than 3 families. So with that, I just wanted to give you a setting of the landscape in that particular area, the community process, and the last piece I'll mention, the community process is that as procedure is with the Board of Appeals, we do not get to the Board of Appeals unless the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services representative says that the community process has been completed. That brings us here, and now if Mr. Lee can talk to you about the specifics on the project.
Yes, go ahead, and please, Mr. Lee, talk to us, because Mr. Fisa, thank you for putting it in context, because my concern was about this 4-family in a 2-family zoning district. But Mr. Lee, please go ahead and very quickly talk through all the violations.
Yes, this is Mr. Benjamin Lee, and I'm with Michael Washington Architects, 1208 W Parkway, Suite 21, West Roxbury. So we are proposing 4 units, and the violations, violation will be into 3 stories instead of 2.5 stories. And the height is, I believe the parking actually has been resolved. So therefore, the violations are the 3 stories, and the use going from a 2 families to a 4-family.
So 3 stories means how many feet?
It's going to be 35 feet.
So it's 35 on the nose, okay? Is there any basement occupancy?
No basement occupancy.
And give us a breakdown on the units, 1, 2, 3s, and the average square footage.
There will be 2 units in the front and 2 units in the back. The 2 ground floor units will be 940 square feet and 1,150 square feet. The 2 upper units will be both approximately 2,400 square feet.
Okay, and I'm assuming the 2,400 is 3 bedrooms?
3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. The lower 2 units are 2 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms.
Interesting, the move towards each 3 bedrooms and 3 baths. Okay, how are the plans, Ms. Vedder?
Madam Chair, the plans are adequate.
Any questions from the board?
I would like to know if your direct abutters 17 and 13 support the project.
I can answer that. Ms. Vedder, I can answer that. Yes, to answer that question specifically, the answer is yes. We have 13, 14, 16, 17, as well as 8, 10, 11, 12, and others of the 15 that I mentioned, and those have been submitted to the board already. But there are 15 throughout the entire. But as far as those abutters, those are the ones with whom we have letters from.
Okay, thank you. Because we did receive about 41 signatures in opposition. So I just wanted to make sure that.
But I would be sure, but I would be sure. I have not received that, but I don't know what those addresses are. But these are the abutters, and as we know, with the yes. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions from the board?
I'm just wondering how the 35-foot height compares to, in context, compares to the say, in particular, the buildings on the right, or to the right.
The building to the right is, I would say they are higher than 35 feet because they are elevated from steps. The nature of the gable roof, the architecture is similar that's to the right. And then that's 13 Parkman to 17. is a mansard in structure is 2 stories, so that will be lower to the proposed building.
Okay, thank you.
Is anybody here to speak either in support or in opposition of this proposal?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. Our office held an abutters meeting July of last year. No concerns were raised by abutters at that meeting. Nevertheless, concerns persisted within the St. Mark's Area Civic Association, with members expressing they felt the home is too large for the lot it's located on. We received a letter of opposition from St. Mark's. Our office also received 15 letters of support that the proponent indicated, as well as 2 letters altogether of opposition. With that, we defer to the board. Thank you.
What is the opposition based on?
I think it's similar to what St. Mark's concerns were, the size of the building for that lot.
Okay.
Madam Chair, Secretary here, we do have those, we have 12 opposition letters and signature of over 50 in opposition as well. We only have 5 support letters in our file. Okay.
So let's, okay, so Ms. Ambassador, anybody else?
Yes, still have a few raised hands here. Is any of the elected officials on that like to give testimony? Representatives of elected officials? If not, I'll open the floor to Jordan. Can you state your name and address for the record, please?
Hello, my name is Jordan Longever. I live at 33 Parkman Street.
Go ahead.
Just to clarify one point that was made, I believe there should be a letter from Hen at 13 Parkman Street in opposition. So I don't know if any other residents there supported, but 13 that I know, opposition.
While you have the floor, tell us the reason for your opposition, and any other speakers lined up, please give us additional information. Do not repeat what Ms. Longever has put on the record.
Thank you, and apologies. I oppose this because it is very incongruous with our neighborhood. We are mostly single family and 2 units at the built in the turn of the century. The one multi-unit area that we have is at the corner of Dodd Ave, and even those buildings are around 5,000 square feet each, with each unit being 700 to 800 square feet. To have such a large building in the middle of our area of the block would really impact the character and the culture, and it will also impact flooding. We already have a lot of flooding on the street, and we also have the concern additionally about the lack of community engagement. We were never notified of any abutters meetings. We were not even notified of this hearing. The St. Mark's president is the one who let us know Thursday night / Friday morning.
Okay.
So there is grave concern of that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Robert, go ahead.
Yes, good morning, Madam Chair and board members. Proposed construction plans for 15 Parkman Street is extremely too aggressive for this area. The proposed 4-unit condominium construction at 15 Parkman Street will amount to a lack of adequate open space and severely diminish the quality of life for its inhabitants and neighbors, and will make the area structurally too crowded.
Thank you.
I lived and grew up in the same house since...
Hold on. May I have the next person, and please give us new information?
Madam Chair, can I ask for Robert's address? He didn't give that when he presented himself.
22 Parkman Street, Dorchester.
Okay, let's keep going, Miss Ambassador.
Yes, they did. Yep. Oh, 1 second. Okay. Thank you. Okay, Amanda, go ahead. Sorry, can you state your name and address for the record, please?
Hi, Amanda. I'm on 31 Parkman Street. I'm just in opposition. They basically said everything I would want to say as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, BJ, were you looking to give testimony here? I see your hand is raised.
Yes. Hi, my name is BJ Oswaju, Director of Civic Engagement for Council Royal, representing District 4 City Councilor Brian Royal's office. Our office would like to go on record in opposition to this project due to community concerns and an outpouring of engagement from the community in opposition for the project. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Jack, Councilor Murphy's office, go ahead.
Hi, this is Jack Studley from Council Murphy's office. We'd also like to go on record in opposition. Thank you.
Thank you. I have no additional raised hands.
Okay, given that information, may I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, I'd like to put forward a motion of denial without prejudice.
Is there a second?
Second.
Fortune?
Aye.
Alec?
Aye.
Dong?
Aye.
Ruggiero?
Aye.
Better?
Aye.
Araujo opposed, but motion carries. So thank you, Mr. Feaster.
All right, thank you very much, Madam Chair and members of the board. Thank you.
Calling the next two cases, calling BOA 132-240-2817 to 819 Beacon Street. There's a companion case, BOA 132-240-3819 Beacon Street. This is for 817-819 Beacon. This is erecting approximately 280,900 square foot mixed-use building.
Mr. Fortune, can we hold on a second? I'd like to find out from the applicant if they intend to go ahead. I just want to remind them that there's a 6-member board and you need 5 members in support. Is the applicant on before Mr. Fortune reads all this information into the record?
Jennifer, is that, I see your hand is raised. Senator Preston, are you the applicant here?
Yes, hi there. My apologies. I am the permitting counsel on behalf of the applicant. It's a joint project between Boston Children's Hospital and Scape Residential. And yes, we are prepared to proceed.
Okay, thank you. Just need that on the record. Go ahead, Mr. Fortune.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is to erect an approximately 280,900 square foot mixed-use building consisting of 393 residential rental units, 53 institutional patient family housing units, and 1,600 square foot first floor retail space, below-grade parking for over 200 vehicles and 8 surface parking spaces. The violations, Article 32, Section 32-4. This is in the G-Cod. Article 61, Section 7. Local retail use is forbidden. Article 61, Section 11. The rear yard is insufficient. Article 61, Section 11. FAR has been exceeded. Article 61, Section 11. The building height has been exceeded by 45 feet. The proposed is 190 feet. This is Article 61, Section 13. This is the Neighborhood District Overlay District. Article 61, Section 20. Roof structure restrictions. Article 61, Section 8. The lot area, an additional lot area required. Article 61, Section 8, open space is insufficient. Article 61, Section 8, the maximum allowed FAR. Article 61, Section 8, the building height maximum 45 feet, the proposed is 198. This is for 819 Beacon Street. Construction of 9 ancillary parking spaces for the benefit of 829, 833 Beacon Street. The violations, Article 61, Section 10, ancillary use for 5 parking spaces. Additional, Article 61, Section 7, ancillary use 3 parking spaces and bike storage, 10 bike racks, if use is conditioned. Name and address for the record, please.
Good morning, Chairwoman and members of the board. My name is Jennifer Schultz, and I am permitting counsel on behalf of the joint applicants for this project. I work at Sullivan and Worcester with a business address of 1 Post Office Square in Boston. This is, as I noted, a joint housing project between Boston Children's Hospital and Scape Residential. It comes forward with a proposal for 53 Boston Children's Hospital family units for families of children who are in the hospital, and 377 multifamily rental units. The project comes forward with great support after a lengthy 4-year process, including support from the Audubon Circle Neighborhood Association.
Can you as counsel please talk to the violations? We'll hear about the process from the mayor's office, but please use your expertise to tell us about about the details of this project?
Yes, Madam Chair. And actually with the picture that's on the screen that shows the multiple colors and the site plan, I think is the best one to look at. So the relief being sought is due to the unique nature of the site. This is the site that is in 3 zoning districts. As you can see, it's the multifamily residential district in yellow, closest to Beacon Street, followed beneath that by the local convenience sub-district in pink, and then off on the bottom left-hand side of the screen is a small portion of an open space district. In addition, running through the site is an MBTA tunnel and easement area. And so as a result of those 3 circumstances unique to the site, the project has had to build to the edges of the site and higher instead of being able to take up more space that would put a load on the tunnel that the MBTA would prefer that we not bear. In addition, a unique nature of the site and the project is that it is surrounded mainly by PDAs, but because of the split zone district, there was a portion of our site that was not PDA eligible, and the BPDA staff instructed the project proponent to seek variances and conditional use permits instead of a zoning amendment in order to make the entire site PDA eligible, like its adjacent neighbors, the Fenway Center project, and on the other side of the multi-use path, 109 Brookline. And so as a result, we're seeking relief for FAR and height, which comes from loading in this sort of H-shaped building. And then as you cross from one zoning district to the other, you end up with technically 0 lot lines and no setbacks because the zoning districts shift throughout the site.
Okay, the part that if you could address is, you know, given the short short yards, side yards, can you tell us what impact it could possibly have, and that they are 7 and 16, 10 to 7 to 17 stories? What kind of impact, shadow impact, would it have on the hunters?
And so to answer those questions, I'd like the project architect, Rich Curtis from Gensler, to respond. If he's able to be recognized. If not, I'm happy to.
Yeah, go ahead since you have the floor.
Jen, I can touch on that as well. This is Andrew Flynn, the proponent. We worked closely over the past few years with the BPDA and with all the neighborhood stakeholders and abutters to manage the shadow impact, including most recently in mid-2021, in the fall of 2021. We moved that building, the back left corner that you see, we moved that much farther away from the abutters to the southwest in order to further mitigate the shadow impact and have it run past them.
Okay, and then we noticed that open space, is that still being maintained?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and let's see, what are some of your other violations? Talk about the ancillary parking, please.
Yes, Madam Chair. So the ancillary parking is solely to address 8 surface spaces that are already in existence and in fact in use by the adjacent property, a condominium. And so seeking relief for the 8 ancillary spaces is to make those spaces and the use of those spaces conform. They are solely to be utilized by the adjacent condominium and not by this project or project proponent.
Okay, so what is the address of the adjacent condo?
It is 829 through 833 Beacon Street, owned by David Lapidus as trustee of the Cypress Realty Trust.
Okay, so should this be approved, this should go into the record that it's ancillary parking to 829 to 833. Okay, and tell us about this 393 residential units. Tell us about the breakdowns of studios, 1s, 2s, etc., the number of proposed square feet, and if there's any percentage in there that's affordable.
Yes, Yes, Madam Chair. So I'll just begin by noting that we are in fact seeking less relief than what we originally requested, because we have removed one story. You see in what was just on the screen, in negotiations and discussions with our abutters, we agreed to remove that one story, which drops the number of units from 393 to 377. But with that, in terms of the breakdown, I will pass it back to Andrew Flynn from SCAPE to give you those details.
Yes, and if we could elevate Rich Curtis from Gensler as a panelist as well. I believe he may have a hand raised. With regards to the units, to your question, Madam Chair, we work closely with the stakeholders, the City Council's Office in the Neighborhood, to increase the amount of on-site affordable from the required 13% to 15%. So 30% will be at 70% AMI, and then an additional 2% of units will be at 100% AMI, bringing 15% of the total units the affordable income restricted units. With regards to the unit mix of the 377 units, as Jim referenced, 35% of them are studios, 9% of them are one bedrooms, 13%.
Sorry, you're speaking too fast. 35% are studios. What's the average square footage of those studios?
This is Rich Curtis. I'm on as well from Gensler at One Beacon.
Fill in the blanks.
So the studios are around 335 square feet. The one bedrooms that are about 52% is around 450 to 505 square feet. The two bedrooms is around 13% or so, and they range from 660 to 680 square feet. And the three bedrooms, there's about 3%, and they range from 840 to 860 square feet. These are all part of the compact living initiatives.
And the three bedrooms are what?
Around 840 to 860.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. And so if they're compact living, tell us about the shared space and the activity in the shared space.
So for these units, they do have a very expansive amenity space on the first floor that ranges from around 14,000 square feet. And everything from kind of like WeWorky areas to common dining areas to gyms, fitness, private dining areas, and things like that.
And will this space also be open to the 53 family patient units?
They actually have their own common spaces, which is much more of a different atmosphere. Obviously, it's a place of support and of interaction for the families that are existing there. So they have their own floor of amenity space as well as an outdoor space that is in between the two buildings.
Okay, and let's just see. How are the plans, Ms. Benner?
Madam Chair, the plans are adequate.
Any questions from the board? I just noticed there is are there roof decks being proposed? A question for the applicant, are there roof decks being proposed?
There currently is one, well, there's a roof deck that is on the first floor, second floor, first floor roof, but second floor for the BCH Family Center that you're looking at right now in the center. And then up on the 10th story on the left side, there is a kind of a more modest amenity space for the residents, and that is actually a communal garden area. So it's not a place of gathering, but more a place of a place where each unit may have a space for gardening.
And
the primary terrace for the residents is on the back of the project, overlooking the multi-use path.
Okay, and is this gold, silver, lead? What is it?
Our target is gold.
Gold. Okay.
So,
any questions from the board?
Yeah, so just the common space is the entire first floor of both high-rise buildings. Is I just trying to with special.
If you could scroll down to the plans, the first floor plan, it kind of winds from the northeast of the site through the connector building to the southwest of the site. So up, I think one more. There you go. So oops. That one plan you were just at. There you go. So as you can see, the pink there is the resident amenity space, and the blue is the entry for the BCH Family Center, but their amenity space is on the second floor.
Does that answer your question, Mr. Ruggiero?
But yeah, and there's no current programming really yet.
There, for the amenity spaces of the residences?
Correct.
There's fitness areas, so there's a yoga gym area, there's a common dining area, so if residents, want to come down and have events down there, they can go down there. There's also places for them to work, conference rooms, smaller huddle rooms and things like that run through it, as well as kind of lobby space and just general lounge areas.
Okay.
What was the rationale in eliminating the retail at that corner?
I can speak to that. That was, we worked closely with the Audubon Circle Neighborhood Association regarding the prospective presence of retail on that corner. And in working with them, there was a request to remove that retail so as not to inadvertently overactivate that street frontage. That's why the retail has been removed.
Okay. Is anybody here to speak in support or in opposition?
Good morning, Madam Chair. Christian Simonelli, Boston Groundwater Trust, and we have both letters from the applicant.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, we have those letters as well from the Secretary.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. At this time, the Mayor's Office would like to defer judgment to the board. This proposal went through a lengthy BPA-led community process, and also, as we heard, the applicant reached out and worked with several civic associations active in that area. We understand there were a lot of voices in the community that were excited about additional housing being added, as well as some concerns regarding pickup and drop-off generated outside of the building and the potential of students moving into these new units. With that, we defer to the board. Thank you.
Madam Chair, Secretary here, we do have letters of support.
Okay, Madam Chair, I have a few raised hands. I'll start with Dolores. Can you state your name and address for the record, please, once you're in the meeting?
Madam Chair, when appropriate, I'd like to speak as well.
Oh, I'm sorry, who was that?
Councilor Kenzie Boss.
Oh, go ahead, Kenzie, go on.
Thank you. And my apologies to Dolly, who's done a lot of work on this. You'll hear from her in a moment. I just wanted to express my strong support to the board for this proposal. There has been really extensive public process, and I think it's made it a much better project, but there's just a few things that I really want to highlight for the board. One of them is the fact that obviously this family housing for families at the most vulnerable moment of their lives when a child is sick is, I think, an important hospitality thing for us to provide, and it's again and again been repeated as the community as something we're proud to provide here. The multi-use path, which the project's providing a key connector for, it's really important for me and the Boston Transportation Department in terms of creating that multimodal connection in Fenway, and we have such a traffic snarl there that it makes a huge difference to have that running through the middle. But the big thing I want to stress is that in the Fenway, I'm seeing just tons of proposals that are all commercial lab office, and it's creating increased workforce demand to work in the area, but really not seeing parallel housing, and this project is an exception to that. And then the proponent worked really proactively with my office around really operating in the spirit of the affirmatively furthering fair housing zoning amendment, even though the project had been filed prior to that, so it's not sort of officially under it. So an example of that would be that we actually looked at the report generated on the BPDA website about this specific catchment area, and here only 6.6% of households have a member with a disability versus 22.7% citywide. That speaks to the old and very inaccessible housing stock. And so an example of something the applicant did was they agreed to double their number of required ADA units from 5% to 10%. There's also only 5.7% families with children here, whereas for that number is 22.4% citywide. That led the applicant to actually shift the mix of their building to have more 2 and 3 bedroom units than prior. And then, as was mentioned by the applicant, they've also agreed to add, in addition to doing the affordable housing on site, add 2% kind of moderate income housing. And what's neat about that is both that middle income tranche is something that the Fenway zoning specifically calls for, but they also agreed to put it below the maximum payment standard for our BHA voucher households. So it'll actually be accessible both to those moderate income households and to households that might hold a voucher. And for your reference, BHA mobile voucher holders make up 5% of citywide residents, but they only make up 0.3% of residents in this catchment area. So I really felt like they partnered with me on, okay, how do we help make a part of the city that isn't accessible to certain protected classes according to fair housing law more accessible in this housing, and then just worked again and again with the Audubon Circle Neighborhood Association, and as you see from the support letter, and I won't go into it because I know Dolores is on, but I think have made some really substantial commitments and have made the project better. So I'm strongly in support, Madam Chair, and I hope that the board will see fit to approve this today.
Councillor, I like your emphasis and thoughtfulness on statistics, and I know you have a background in housing. So one of my questions was this 70% and 100% AMI. Are you comfortable with that, or has there been a thought, in the Fenway and as other projects move along to make it more accessible to people at maybe 50 or 40 or something like that?
Yeah, so thank you, Madam Chair, and actually that gives me a chance to expand on something that I feel really passionately about, which is, so really the best way that we can get those like 0, 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%, 50% AMI households into these inclusionary units is actually by pairing up a federal subsidy with our inclusionary policy. Because the reality is that to house, for instance, a family, like much of our BHA and voucher portfolio families are actually at that 10, 20, 30% AMI mark. But to achieve that in terms of just a straight up profit transfer, right, with these plans would involve many fewer units for deeper affordability. And so what I think is really exciting is the idea of looking at places where we actually have the federal government offering, deep subsidy to those families, which is what we have in the voucher program. But currently those families can't find a unit in the city of Boston to rent a lot of the time, or they're just only able to find it in a couple very small pockets of the city, which is part of what we see driving segregation. And so that was really, something I partnered with at 817, 819 Beacon that I'm actually hoping becomes a model, and it's something I'm going to the IDP technical advisory on, is actually having a level that we peg to being voucher eligible. So the market rents at these sites are just slightly above the maximum often for the voucher holders. But by bringing them down here to that 100% AMI level, what's interesting is, in some sense, what Mr. Flynn is doing is creating split 100/30% and below AMI level units. Now, this was an experiment. I think we could, in the long run, do a lot more of this tranche because it lets the things pencil out better in the pro forma, but it also provides these families who have a federal subsidy with a real housing opportunity in the city, which is something we've really struggled with. And not for nothing, right now, a bunch of those families are using their vouchers in the 70% unit. So we actually are housing more low-income families in IDP units than people realize. But if they could use them in the 100% units, then that would also free up some more of that middle. So it is something I'm actively working on, Madam Chair, and I think that this project was an example of a really collaborative attempt to kind of start thinking this through more systematically.
And I think the other question is that how many BHA residents are moving from BHA developments to developments like this, so they and their kids become more fully integrated into a community?
Yeah, that has to, I think, be our whole objective with affirmatively furthering fair housing, is to make that possible. And the biggest change the city made back in 2019 was we changed the voucher rules to small area fair market rents, which I'm sorry I'm getting very in the weeds, but basically what it did was it let that maximum rent that a voucher could pay float with the zip code's average rent. And so what's nice about that is it actually opened a whole bunch of expensive zip codes in the city of Boston to BHA families for the first time. So I think the new work of the last few years is getting that word out and providing the support tools to help, landlords know that they're obligated to rent to these families, that you can't discriminate against a voucher holder in the state of Massachusetts, and then help voucher holders know that, more of the city is accessible to them. And we've been seeing in the BHA data some modest gains in terms of seeing those families dispersed more across the city. And I think there's a lot we could do, though, to be more proactive about it. And I do think that the AFFH zoning amendment, which most projects that applies to have not made its way to your board yet, because obviously they have to go through the BPDA process, the large projects, I think is gonna help us start cracking that nut in a really serious way.
And is there a new way of monitoring so that in fact there is no creaming?
I think that's part of what we're staffing up the Office of Fair Housing and Equity to do. So there's some additional staff and capacity there for some of that enforcement and compliance, and also on the BPDA side, actually also some more compliance capacity being added.
Thank you. Thank you for your detail. Anybody else to speak in support or in opposition?
Minor, go ahead.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the Board of Minor Perez representing the Carpenters Union. On behalf of hundreds of our members that live and work for the city, we're going to support the project. Thank you.
Pam Bale, see your hand is raised, go ahead.
Yes, thank you. Good morning, Madam Chair and board members. My name is Pam Beal, and my address is 642 Beacon Street. And I am here today as a member of the IAG for this project to speak in support of these applications. Thank you.
Thank you. Dolores, please.
Thank you very much. My name is Dolores Bogdanian. I live at 452 Park Drive in Boston, Massachusetts. I also was a member of the IAG. I'm currently president of the Audubon Circle Neighborhood Association. And I'm always happy to defer to Kenzie Bach. And I really appreciate all the work that she's done on this project and in our city to help bring a balance to the housing needs of our residents and people who would like to live here. I'm here to speak in support of the project. I'll be brief. Escape came to Boston with the intent to build privately operated dormitories. Amazingly, some in the city thought this was a good idea. But thankfully, the residents in the family raised enough of a ruckus that that idea was scrapped. And I would say now, based on what I know, that it is in large part to the efforts of Escape's principal, Andrew Flynn, to listen to the neighborhood.
Dolly, I know you've been really involved in Audubon for decades now, but please tell us very quickly your support and what it's based on.
Well, our letter that we submitted to the board outlines those reasons. I think, when it's again a full agenda, I think everything that has been said, especially by the counselor, speaks to our support. I won't, unless you really want to hear why we support it, I think I'll let you read our letter because it outlines it.
Thank you for putting that in the record. Let's go ahead. Thank you. Ms. Ambassador, the next person.
Sure, Sandeep, go ahead.
Hi, folks. Madam Chairwoman, members of the board, I just want to express my support for this project. Mr. Flynn, as well as Escape, have been exceedingly helpful in accommodating some of our wishes as a neighborhood association, but also my individual wishes as a owner at 16 Minor Street, which is a condominium, including addressing things like the loading dock, the massing of the building towards the back.
Thank you. Thank you.
And Madam Chair, I have no additional raised hands.
Okay, given all that information, may I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve BPA review.
Okay, second. Okay, let me go through the roll call. Fortune?
Aye.
Ehrlich?
Aye.
Dong?
Aye.
Ruggiero?
Aye.
Better?
Aye.
Araujo's also in support, so it's been approved with design review.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Madam Chair, it's almost 11 o'clock right now. I'm going to call the 10:30 hearings for any deferrals or withdrawals. Give me the address first, please. This is for 10:30 only, deferrals or withdrawals.
49R Emery Road and sister case 49 Emery Road.
Thank you very much. Calling case BOA 129-6380, 49R Emery Road. There is companion case BOA 129-6381, 49 Emery Road. Name and address for the record, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Attorney Ryan Spitz from Adams and Moranci with a business address of 168 8th Street, Unit 1, South Boston. We'd like to request an administrative deferral to be heard in front of a full 7-member board.
May I have a motion and a second, please?
Motion to defer.
Second.
Fortune,
Aye.
Oleg,
Aye.
Dong,
Aye.
Ruggiero,
Aye.
Better,
Aye.
Araujo also in support. The date, please.
Hold on, Madam Chair, we're trying to figure that out right now. Okay, Madam Chair, August 23rd is the next time we have a full member board, 7 members. That'll be at 11:30.
Thank you. And thank you for reminding, this is a 6-member board today, and for any approval, you need 5 members in support. So applicants can request a deferral, an administrative deferral until there is a 7-member board.
Are there any other deferrals or withdrawals to the 1030 cases only? Give me the address, please. Hearing none, Madam Chair, I'm going to go to the next case, calling BOA 127-2890, 48 to 54 Walter Street. This is converting an existing warehouse to marijuana cultivation shop. The violation, Article 69, Section 11, the cannabis established use is conditional. Name and address for the record, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, my name is Kyle Smith of Cetera Law, business address of 181 Wells Avenue in Newton, Massachusetts. On the call with me as well, I do have the applicants, the project architect, and then the intended day-to-day manager for the facility.
So please describe to us what's being proposed.
Madam Chair, as you know from our violation letter, we're cited strictly for the conditional use of the cultivation facility. There's a pre-existing warehouse that exists on site. The applicants have not proposed to do any type of exterior, except for maybe just aesthetic renovations or changes, but any changing of the building's footprint, height, dimensions, or otherwise. So we have a pre-existing structure that we're looking to basically modify the interior to create a marijuana cultivation facility with no intended retail sale.
So how many square feet is this facility, and what is the access? I'm just trying to figure out if residents will be impacted by delivery or other vehicles, other trucks, more specifically.
Yep, so the square footage of the current existing warehouse is approximately 26,000 square feet, with a lot size of approximately 37,600 square feet. It's accessible via Walter Street, with primary parking, delivery vehicles or otherwise to be housed and stored and being loaded and unloaded off-street.
Off-street, okay. And how many vehicles do you anticipate being activated, trucks versus staffing?
If potentially the applicants could opine there.
Yeah, so roughly we'll have about 40 employees, and hopefully most of the employees, anywhere between 40 to 60 employees, and most of the employees should be from the community of Hyde Park, so we anticipate most of them to be either walking and commuting by bus or bicycle. So primarily we have enough parking for about 30 vehicles or more, because the lot is also owned by the same owner that has multiple, that has another lot out behind the building. So if we need additional parking spaces, we have that available.
And tell us about any trucks that you anticipate versus employee parking.
So we anticipate about two vans, roughly a few times a week to do out and just make some deliveries. Scheduled deliveries would be basically scheduled.
Okay, and tell us so cultivation means grow and processing. I guess the question is, will processing emit any odors or other stuff into the air?
Primarily, we'll do our best to medicate the odor, but ideally what we just plan on doing is cultivate, dry the product, packaging, and send it out.
Okay, so drying will be, okay. Let's see, how are the plans, Ms. Better?
Madam Chair, the plans are adequate.
Any questions from the board? Is anybody here to speak either in support or in opposition of this proposal?
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the board. This is Danielle Fonseca with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. I hosted an abutters meeting for this or a community meeting on April 19th. There were 48 people in attendance, and during this meeting, the applicants did receive support and opposition for the cultivation site. One of the concerns and topics of discussion did consist of security and safety, as some residents did have questions pertaining to crime and if the marijuana on site could be a potential target for illegal activity or increased crime in the area. Our office has received letters of support and opposition, which have been sent to the board for review. Some additional concerns consisted of congestion and density of the area, environmental concerns, resources, and energy drainage. The applicants received over 150 signatures of support from business owners, residents, and community leaders and stakeholders that highlighted how Boston would greatly benefit from supporting this proposal due to the positive long-term economic opportunities that it can provide to Hyde Park's most vulnerable residents, bringing some social equity to the cannabis industry. Several community leaders and residents spoke of how actively engaged the low-key team have been with connecting to civic groups, organizations, and trying to participate in events and initiatives and support our community in as many ways as they can. Our office has received letters of support from elected officials, again, community stakeholders, a letter from the president of the Hyde Park Central River Neighborhood Group and the Hyde Park Neighborhood Association. At this time, we'd like to defer to the board for judgment. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Secretary here, sorry about that. We do have those letters the mayor's office spoke of.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the board. Jordan Frias, Councilor Ricardo Arroyo's office. We'd like to go on the record in support of this. Thank you.
I do have a raised hand by Martin. Sent a request to unmute you. Can you state your name and address for the record, please?
This is Martin Evans. My office is 101 Federal Street, Suite 1900 in downtown Boston. I am a job and housing advocate in Metro Boston, and I'm here to support Low Key based on their job and community support best practices. And just to...
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, a question of the applicant. Tell us what your plan is to address the security and safety issues.
Mark, are you on this call? I have my chief of security on this call. Hopefully he can answer those questions.
Jeff, what's Mark's last name? I don't know if you...
Mark Conrad.
And Madam Chair, while they're trying to accommodate, we do have security plans that have been submitted to and reviewed by the BCB. So we have cameras in place to blanket basically the entire facility, but those have been obtained and scrutinized by BCB in their ultimate approval of this project with a corresponding HCA that's been signed.
Okay, and environmentally, any solar panels or anything like that to ameliorate the effects of this intensity?
Correct. We plan on using solar panels to subsidize, us using, electricity on the site.
Okay. Given all that information and BPDA, did you have a recommendation?
Thank you, Madam Chair. We recommended approval. We couldn't tell if there were going to be any exterior changes. If so, maybe we get them, but we're on record as being in support.
Okay, thank you. May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, I'd like to put forward a motion of approval with BPDA review on exterior modifications.
Okay. And is there a second?
I'll pick it up.
Okay, Fortune.
Aye.
Ehrlich.
Aye.
Dong.
Aye.
Ruggiero.
Aye.
Better.
Aye.
Araujo is also aye, so the motion for approval with design review carries. Good luck.
Calling the last case for 10:30, calling DOA 128-8967-5252-5270 Washington Street. This is a change of occupant storage to marijuana dispensary. The violation is Article 8, Section 7. The use is conditional. Name and address for the record, please.
Madam Chair and members of the board, my name is Kyle Smith of Statera Law, business address of 181 Wells Avenue in Newton, Massachusetts. We have the same team on the line as well for this matter, with the addition of a separate proposed on-site manager. No questions.
So, take a couple of minutes, tell us what's the square footage of this lot, and tell us a little bit about hours of operation and things like that so we can understand this, what's happening here.
Certainly. So I'll let the owner discuss, or the applicant discuss, the hours of operation, but as a kind of brief change from prior, this is intended to be a dispensary. They're calling this low-key number 2. These applicants have been before this board for the approval of low-key dispensary location 1, located at 571B Washington Street in Dorchester, which should become operational the 3rd or 4th quarter of this year. So they do have that prior experience and longevity of trying to bring another dispensary online. In contrast to 54 Walter, the intent here, the applicants are current owners of a parcel of land that exceeds about 69,000 square feet. There are existing tenants on site, so they do control the parcel. They have owned it since 2019. They have exclusive use, arguably, of parking that exists to the rear of the parcel that can accommodate approximately 20 to 30 spaces, and for which, if there ends up being issues with parking in the future, they can work to expand the current facility. They have a lot of currently unutilized land in that approximately acre and a half. So this is intended for retail marijuana distribution, in contrast to the prior matter, which was for cultivation.
And the hours of operation?
10 to 9.
All days of the week?
Correct.
Okay.
We've been approved by the PCB with those hours.
Okay, so because I'm assuming your catchment area includes Dedham. Okay, how are the plans, Ms. Better?
Madam Chair, the plans are adequate.
Any questions from the board? Is anybody here to speak either in support or in opposition?
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Jake Lakeseed from the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. The applicant went through a robust community process, including a community meeting with our office on April 25th of this year, and also with the West Roxbury Neighborhood Council on May 18th of this year. At the West Roxbury Neighborhood Council meeting, the zoning committee voted 5-1 in support of the project. We have received both letters of support and opposition for the project, most notably a letter of support from the West Roxbury Civic Improvement Association. I would also like to recognize the applicant's commitment to just being very available for the community and other civic groups. And at this time, we defer to the judgment of the board. Thank you.
Madam Chair, Secretary here, we do have those letters the Mayor's office spoke of. The opposition was 3 opposition letters. One was there's a park right across the street off of Washington, Draper Field. And they just opposed the dispensary in the neighborhood.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I have no raised hands.
May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, I'd like to put forward a motion of approval with BPDA design review if there's changes on the exterior.
And this applicant only?
Yes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Fortune?
Aye.
Alec?
Aye.
Dong?
Aye.
Ruggiero?
Aye.
Better?
Aye.
Araujo is also in support, so the motion with those 2 provisos carries. Good luck.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, it's now 11:10. We're going to call the recommendations that we heard last Thursday at 1010 Mass Ave. Calling case BOA 128-660-399 College Street. Listers replaced an existing roof deck. It was approved with BPDA to replace the head house with a hatch. Case BOA 131-8143 11 Monument Street. To build a roof deck. It was approved with BPDA on pergola and side deck. Case BOA 132-2787 581 Boylston Street. It was a body art tattoo. It was removed. Case BOA 134-3120 330 K Street was deferred to 8/18/22 at 5 p.m. of a continued community process. Case BOA 133-5134 158 West Concord Street. It was to construct a 3x3 by 11 by 9.5 brick wall. It was approved with BPDA. Case BOA 133-5900 14 Blanche Street. It was to change home from single to 2-family owner occupied. Approved with BPDA on exterior changes. Case BOA 134-0516, 10 Belton Street, was constructed as a rear second-story addition, an existing single-family was approved with BPDA and exterior. Case BOA 133-4845, 57 Ocean Street, was denied without prejudice. Case BOA 133-6189, 2005 Dorchester Avenue, was deferred to the 8/18, 5 p.m. for updated drawings. Case BOA 130-9944, 65 Thompson Street, was constructing a two-story rear addition to rear yard, was approved with BPDA. Case BOA 132-4414, 65 Business Street, curb cut, install off-street parking for 2 vehicles, was approved. Case BOA 134-4480, 81 to 87 Fairmount Avenue, will be heard today at the full board at 11:30. Case BOA 132-8145, 7 Boylston Street, was to replace the rear deck, replace rear porch. It was approved with three provisos, the BPDA. 2 was the existing driveway to eliminate front yard parking, and 3, and a curb cut to be 10 feet. Case BOA 132-9432, 27 Sherwood Street, place a screen porch, approved. Case BOA 132-1257, 19 Peyton Street, is a renovation addition to Unit 2, an existing 2-family detached villa, was approved with BPDA. Case BOA 131-9341, 351 Cornell Street, was a dormer addition, rear deck, it was approved with BPDA. In case BOA 132-8658, 8 Curlew Street, was to extend living space into the basement, it was approved, with provide a BPDA for front entrance, and 2 to remain in 1 family. That concludes the subcommittee's report.
May I have a motion, please?
Motion to concur with the recommendations of the subcommittee.
May I have a second?
Second.
Fortune?
Aye.
Ehrlich?
Aye.
Dong?
Aye.
Ruggiero?
Aye.
Better?
Aye.
Araujo also in support, so motion carries.
On the 10:30 hearings, the first case calling DOA 134-9823, 340 Meridian Street. This is a change the occupancy from a 3-family dwelling to a 4-family dwelling to include a new basement unit, an interior renovation, an existing building, and a new roof deck. Violation Article 53, Section 8. The basement unit is forbidden. Article 27T-5, this is in the East Boston iPod. And Article 53, Section 9, the use of open space is insufficient. Name and address for the record, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Attorney Jeff Drago with Drago and Toscano with the business address of 11 Beacon Street. Here on behalf of the applicant, and also I have Eric Zackerson, the architect. Just to point out, this project was approved by this board on February 8th, 2022. The reason that we are back here is for some missing violations that were not advertised. When my client, this was already approved, we haven't changed anything from that prior approval. When my client went to pull his building permit and some of his plans, it was found that by ISD, that 3 violations were missing.
Let's go directly to that basement unit.
Sure. So that was approved, Madam Chair. That was one of the violations that
So, I'm sorry, if it wasn't cited, we weren't considering it. So let's talk about that basement unit.
It was, just so you know, Madam Chair, it was in the description. It just wasn't cited as a violation.
Yes, let's talk about that basement unit.
Sure. So it's substantially above grade. It is Unit 1, so it would be a 2-bedroom at 1,220 square feet. To point out that is existing living space now in the current building. That unit has 6 bedrooms in it. So this building right now has 18 bedrooms in its existing condition. We are changing this to, and it's completely empty right now. We are proposing to make 4 separate condo units out of the building. So,
okay, so again, talk to us about that basement unit.
Sure.
The ceiling height, because
so floor to ceiling varies from 8'3" to 11 feet. It has 2 means of egress. It has full windows for light and air, floor to sill, 30 inches. I mentioned 2 means of egress. It's 1,220 square feet. It's 2-bed and it's 2-bath.
Okay, and Let me see, so it's a standalone unit in the basement.
It is, it's being proposed as a standalone unit. Right now, it's connected to the top floor.
Okay, we just want to hear about the
Okay,
proposal,
sure.
okay? How are the plans, Ms. Vedder?
Madam Chair, the plans are adequate.
Any questions from the board?
Yeah, can we just see an elevation so we can see, Mr. Drago said it was substantially above grade, but I'd like to.
You can see Mr.
Mr. Drago, tell us which is the most appropriate plan to look at.
So that plan and then the one in front of it as well will show the door in the back. It's a full walkout with stairs.
Okay.
Oh, it's actually above grade there.
Correct.
Okay.
And the utilities are separate.
Correct.
Okay. Is anybody here any other questions from the board? Is anybody here to either speak in support or in opposition of this proposal?
Yes, good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Natalia Benitez with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. An abutters meeting was hosted on September 2021. Abutters thought it was a good addition to the neighborhood. The applicant also met with the Eagle Hill Civic Association and received support on February of this year. The community was pleased at the fact that their facade was not changing and the characteristic of the house was maintained. So at this moment, our office would like to defer all judgment to the board. Thank you.
Madam Chair, Secretary, here we have one opposition letter.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I have no raised hands.
Okay, may I have a motion, please? Mr. Drago, what was the proviso that we had placed on the previous request?
It was BPDA design review because we are restoring the complete exterior of the building.
Okay.
And the deck was also previously approved? The exterior deck on the roof?
That's correct.
Okay.
May I have a motion, please?
Motion for approval with a design proviso, BPDA design review.
Is there a second?
Okay.
Fortune?
Aye.
Alec?
Aye.
John? Aye. Ruggiero?
Aye.
Vedder?
Aye.
Rao Johnson, approval in support, so motion with design review carries.
Thank you.
Calling the next two cases, calling DOA 134-0078, 116 Appleton Street. Companion case of building code, DOA 134-0083, 116 Appleton Street. This is for 116. Add a new roof deck with hatch access, construct a new second level deck in the rear of the yard. The violation of Article 64, Section 9, townhouse row house extensions into the rear yard. And Article 64, Section 34, roof structure restriction. This is for building code, the 9th edition, 780 CMR 1011, regarding 116 Appleton Street, a new roof deck with hatch access, 1011.12.2 roof access, where a stairway is provided to a roof. Access to that roof shall be provided through a penthouse complying with Section 1510.2. Exception, in buildings without an occupied roof, access to that roof shall be permitted via a roof hatch or a trap door not less than 16 square feet in an area and having a minimum dimension of 2 feet. Name and address for the record, please.
Mr. Kunz, please put your name and address on the record and address the building code, please.
I can't see that I'm there yet. Yes, Evan Kunz, architect, 38 Greenwich Park, Boston, Mass.
So can you address the building code request for
The building code issue is that a full height head house essentially is required above a stair. And what we have provided in its place is a hatch which lifts up and provides a full uninterrupted passage to the roof deck.
Okay, hold on a minute. May I have a motion, please?
Motion for approval for the building code.
I second. Barraza.
Okay, Fortune?
Aye.
Alec?
Aye.
Dong? Aye. Ruggiero?
Aye.
Vedder?
Aye.
Araujo, also aye. Motion carries. Mr. Kunz, tell us that the decks are bracket supported, and talk to us about that roof deck.
The roof deck is, really doesn't require ZBA approval. The deck in the rear does, in that we are proposing.
It does because we have roof structure restrictions. So
okay.
Okay, so tell us quickly about that roof deck.
The roof deck has been constructed or designed to fall within a distance that provides virtually no view of the railings from the street on Appleton Street or on the street in this Chandler Street in the rear. And it is approximately 20 feet long and 16 plus feet wide.
Tell us that the rear decks are bracket supported and the dimensions of those rear decks.
The rear deck is essentially 6 feet by 16 feet. It has a projection at the rear of it, complementing the bay window. It's essentially supported on brackets on the rear wall, and it is accessed through a full door in the center of the bay.
Okay, hold on a minute then. Ms. Better, how are the plans?
Madam Chair, the plans are adequate.
Any questions from the board? Is anybody here to speak in support or in opposition?
Yes. Good afternoon, Madam Chair and members of the board. Kim Cursilli from the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. Our office held an abutters meeting on June 15th of 2022, where there is generally no opposition from abutters, just concern over landmarks review. At this time, our office defers to the board. Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Ana Calderon from Council President Flynn's office. The councilor would like to go on record in support. Thank you.
Madam Chair, Secretary here. We do have some letters of support, but we also have a couple letters of opposition.
Madam Chair, I have no raised hands.
Mr. Fortune, what is the opposition based on?
The deck in the back, facing the public way.
Okay.
I did speak with someone from the Landmarks Commission about 3 weeks ago. They do normally require that they come to the meeting first.
Got it. No, we got it.
They wanted to go back.
Got it. Mr. Hampton?
Thank you, Madam Chair. We recommended approval with design review for the rear deck. Landmarks probably has their own review that they want to do for the roof.
Thank you. May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, I'd like to put forward a motion of approval with design proviso of PDA design review and landmarks.
Is there a second?
Second.
Fortune?
Aye.
Ehrlich?
Aye.
Dong?
Aye.
Ruggiero?
Aye.
Better?
Aye.
Araujo also in support, so motion carries.
Thank you.
Calling the next case, calling BOA 130-4352, 136 West 8th Street. This is to combine vacant parcels and build a new construction 5-family building. Violation of Article 25, Section 5, Flood Hazard District, Article 68, Section 33. Off-street parking loading is insufficient. Article 68, Section 33, off-street parking loading, all proposed parking spots are compact dimensions only. The violation of Article 68, Section 8, FAR is excessive. Article 68, Section 8, usable open space is insufficient. Article 68, Section 8, front yards insufficient. Article 68, Section 8, side yards insufficient. Article 68, Section 8, rear yards insufficient. And Article 68, Section 8, the additional lot area is insufficient. Name and address for the record, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, my name is Kyle Smith of Statera, the business address of 181 Wells Avenue in Newton. On the call with me, I do have the proponent and applicant and the project architect.
Tell us what's being proposed.
So, Madam Chair, just to refresh your and the rest of the board's memory, we've been before you now. This will be the third time. The proponent was able to secure 138 West 8th Street. and we have been before you with original plans for a 3-family on 136 West 8th Street, which we are before you on today. If you recall, on 138 West 8 was a pre-existing single family that was encroaching onto this parcel. That encroachment was removed in part, but the larger building slightly encroached, and we did seek a planned subdivision for which this board approved, so we could slice off a small sliver from 136, provide it to 138 to remove the encroachment altogether. That was previously approved. Just before presenting before you for the approval for zoning relief for the single family and its expansion at 138, the proponent was able to secure 134 West 8th Street, for which we then sought to defer and then cancel the original plans for the proposed 3-family on 136. So we are before you today for a combined aggregate parcel of 134 and 136 West 8th Street to construct a 4-story structure that is built slab on grade that provides for an ADA unit on the first floor, 4 off-street parking spaces accessible via a garage and a pre-existing but to be slightly relocated existing curb cut onto the parcel, with then 3 additional floors of housing above it consisting of an additional 4 units.
This is a proposed 5-family dwelling. Tell us about the breakdown of the units.
Sure. So, Madam Chair, on floor 1, we have both parking essentially to the right of the structure as you're looking at it from West 8th. We have an ADA accessible unit to the left side of the structure, which is a proposed 2-bed, 2-bath of approximately 980 or 990 square feet. On floor 2, we have 2 proposed 2-bed, 2-baths of about approximately 1,100 square feet. And then on floors 3 and 4, we have duplex units, which are approximately, 4-bed, 3-bath with a flex kind of office bed space, and they are approximately 1,900 square feet.
Any roof deck proposed?
No, Madam Chair, and I just wanted to point out that we have been active in communication with Cityside, the relevant and very active neighborhood group here, and we have been before them for
We'll get all that information from the mayor's office.
Yeah.
Is there any proposal for overhang over the sidewalk?
Yes, Madam Chair, that is reflected right there on that screen. It is proposed for internal square footage for the respective units on floors 2 and 3.
And how wide is that sidewalk? Because we're seeing more and more of this, which ends up having an impact on the feeling of openness on narrow sidewalks.
Chris, if you are on, can you opine on the width of the sidewalk and the depth of those bays? Sidewalk is 6 feet in depth.
Yep, Madam Chair, Chris Vance Architects, 254 Bay Road, South Hamilton, Mass. The proposed projected bays are 2 feet in depth.
Okay. And tell us about the parking. Is parking really all just for compacts?
Yes, Madam Chair, as you can envision in this neighborhood, lot sizes are small. Most homes are built from parcel or lot line to lot line. So they are all proposed to be compact spaces. Our current ratio is 4 parking spaces to 5 units. The prior proposed 3-family was 2 spaces for 3. So our rough percentage ratio of parking has increased.
Okay.
Madam Chair, Mr. D'Amico has spoke on this. I don't think he's online today.
Yeah.
But I'd like to put his comments in for the record. Regarding 136 West 8th Street, the parking is a little tight. In his opinion, he would recommend the removal of space 4.
I'm sorry, that how many spaces?
He would recommend the removal of space 4.
Okay. Okay. So, let me see. So, I just need to context because this feels like this has been an incremental process. So I just need to know, so 134 to 136 is being proposed as a 5-family. Tell us about 138. It's also in ownership of this developer, right?
Madam Chair, it's technically owned by a separate legal entity, but it is largely controlled by the same investor and owner group.
And what is 138?
138 was a pre-existing single family that there was a proposal for expansion and maintenance as a single family that had been before this board before and approved in approximately August of 2021.
Okay, so 138 stays a single family, okay?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Okay, and how are the plans, Ms. Better?
Madam Chair, the plans are adequate.
Any questions from the board?
Yeah, this is a 4-story structure. I'm looking at Google Map, and I don't see anything on the block that's more than either 2 or 3 stories. This would be, as far as I can tell, the only 4-story structure. Is that correct to the applicant?
I can't speak as to the depth or the longevity of the street, but as far as our buildings in the immediate proximity, yes. Many of them are slightly built on a pedestal, so the first story begins approximately 3 to 4 feet off of grade. So our structure is 4 stories built slab on grade, so it is slightly higher by about a half story.
So what is the height of the building?
I believe it is sub 40 feet. Chris, can you confirm?
That is correct. It's 40 feet.
And what is the height of the tallest nearby building?
I would say our structure to our immediate left at approximately 36.5, and then we also control 138. Do you know the height of that, Chris?
At 138?
Yes.
Yeah, that was at, I believe it was 38 feet.
Okay.
I don't believe we surveyed the 132 to the peak.
Well, I mean, if you just look at the neighboring buildings up and down the block, none of them are 4-story.
Okay. Let me just get testimony. Is anybody here to speak either in support or in opposition?
Good morning, Madam of the Chair, members of the board.
Sorry about that. Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. I'm Anna White with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. ONL's had a butters meeting for 134, 136 West 8th Street on June 9th, which was attended by direct abutters. Support was expressed for this project. A letter of support was received and sent into the board. At this time, we'd like to defer judgment to the board. Thank you very much.
Good morning, Madam of the Chair, members of the board. Ana Calderon from Council President Flynn's office. The councilor would like to go on record in support based on a true community process and good faith compromises with neighbors and the civic group regarding non-roof decks and increasing parking as much as possible. We respectfully request the PDA design review and ask that the team continue to work closely with the neighbors during the construction phase. Thank you.
Madam Chair, Secretary here, we have 3 letters of support.
Madam Chair, I have no raised hands.
Mr. Hampton?
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. We are actually on the record recommending denial without prejudice. The proposal is just because of the parking and the number of units is excessive. Actually, back in 2021, we recommended approval of the 3-family. So we like the 3, we hate the 5. And just, Mr. Ehrlich, just for some sort of reference, the allowable height within almost all of South Boston is 40 feet. So I understand your concern. That can be dealt with perhaps through design review, but they are within the zoning height. But we are on record recommending denial without prejudice.
The other question, Mr. Hampton, this is within a flood hazard district. Does that mean that that ADA apartment would be subject to flooding then?
It'd be something that we would definitely have to take a look at, yes, Madam Chair.
Okay. So given all that information, and may I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, I would like to say that the zoning is a multifamily resident zoning. I would like to put forward a proposal of approval with 2 proviso. One is BPDA design review, paying special attention to that 4-story setback to try to resolve some of the Mark's kind of comment in terms of the typology that exists on the site. And then the other would be BTD design review to accommodate only I believe, the 3 parking spaces and a minimum curb cut of 10 feet.
Three parking and 10 feet curb cut. And we need to also, I think, Ms. Better, put on the record that we are not providing approval of any construction in the flood hazard district that would be impacted by the flood hazard district.
Correct.
Okay. Is there a second?
Yeah, I'll second that.
Okay. I just need to make sure. Okay, Fortune?
Aye.
Oleg?
Aye.
Dong?
Aye.
Ruggiero?
I'm opposed.
Better?
Aye.
Araujo is also opposed, so motion does not carry. It's been denied.
And Madam Chair, that to confirm that we would deny without prejudice, correct?
No, when a motion like this does not carry, it's been denied. Basically, not to see a family 5-story building, 4-story building. Okay.
Tom, do any other members have any motions that they would like to put forward on?
No, it's been denied. Tom, this is the board's operating procedure for years now, for decades. So it has been denied. Okay? Mayor, the next case, please.
Calling the next case, calling BOA 1299375, 15 Baywood Street. This is change orders from a 3-family to a 4-family, adding a new rear stair. Violation Article 50, Section 29, it's insufficient additional lot area per unit. Article 50, Section 29, excessive FAR. Article 50, Section 26, 4 units use additional. Article 50, Section 29, the maximum height has been exceeded. Article 50, Section 29, the number of allowed stories has been exceeded. And Article 50, Section 43, off-street parking loading is insufficient. Name and address for the record, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Attorney Jeff Drago with Drago and Toscano with the business address of 11 Beacon Street, here on behalf of the applicants Joni and Emma Sihu, and we have Eric Zackerson from Context as the architect. As was mentioned, we're proposing to change the occupancy from a 3-family dwelling that was approved back in March 26, 2019 by the board to a 4-family dwelling with 6 parking spaces. This building will remain the same size and structure. We were approved in the past for a bi-level unit on the top floor with 5 bedrooms. This is going to become, we're proposing to become a condo building for sale. We felt it was better to have a 4-unit building. The layout of this building will now be slab on grade, so there'd be no basement living space. Unit 1 is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Unit 2 is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Unit 3 is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and then the 4th floor unit that we're proposing to separate from the 3rd floor that was approved as a 1-bedroom, 1-bath unit.
Tell us about the average square footage of all those 3 bedrooms.
Sure. So the average square footage, Madam Chair, is 1150 per unit, and then the top floor is about 1,000 square feet.
Okay, so, and this is proposed or is it already constructed?
So the structure was built, the exterior, the walls, but the interior has not been completed yet. And the only other changes are adding egress stair to the back of the building.
And this is a 4,000 district. What's the square foot of the lot?
The lot square footage is 4,855 square feet. And just to point out, Madam Chair, we're actually losing 1 bedroom by this change. So the previous proposal was 11. We're now at 10 bedrooms total.
Okay, and tell us about the parking. How is the parking going to be accommodated?
So there is a private way with easement access. It's 20 feet wide. And so that would, if you should, Maywood Terrace, which we have easement rights over, it would go right through the back, and then come around a curb cut in the rear. So nothing would go through the front of the lot. It would come in through the side. There is a parking plan if you go a little bit further down. Right there, yep. And so along Maywood Terrace. There'd be a curb cut for the 6 spaces. 4 of them are full size and 2 of them are compact spaces. And we still have an area of green in the back.
Okay. How are the plans, Ms. Better?
Madam Chair, the plans are adequate.
Any questions from the board? Is anybody here to speak either in support or in opposition of this proposal?
Yes, good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. My name is Keisha Santana from the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. At this time, we're deferring to the board for judgment. The applicants met with Mike Pozu and Ninth Street Civic Association, and they were asked to remove the rear decks and add a gate to the top, which was done. And there has been community support in this project. At this time, we would like to defer judgment to the board. Thank you.
Madam Chair, I have no raised hands.
May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, I'd like to put a motion of approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Zero names.
Oh, I'm sorry. God, I'm in an automatic mode here. Fortune?
Aye.
Ehrlich?
Aye.
Dong?
Aye.
Ruggiero?
Aye.
Better?
Aye.
Araujo is also aye, so motion for approval carries.
Thank you, members of the board.
Good luck.
Calling the next 2 cases, calling BOA 1330429 10 Woodford Street. Companion case BOA 133043134 Woodford Street. This is for 10 Woodford. Erect a new 4-story residential building with 4 dwelling units and roof deck on an existing vacant lot. Violation Article 50, Section 29. Section 28. A multifamily dwelling use is forbidden. Article 50, Section 29. The lot area is insufficient. Article 50, Section 29. Lot width is insufficient. Article 29. Lot frontage is insufficient. Article 50, Section 29. Floor area ratio is excessive. Article 50, Section 29. Building height is excessive. Article 50, Section 29. The building height number of stories is excessive. Article 50, Section 29. The usable open space is insufficient. Article 50, Section 29, the front yard is insufficient. Article 50, Section 29, the rear yard is insufficient. Article 50, Section 29, the rear yard is insufficient. And Article 50, Section 43, off-street parking is insufficient. This is for 34 Woodford Street. This is also to erect a 4-story residential building with 4 dwelling units and roof deck on an existing vacant lot. And Madam Chair, the violations are identical, so I won't read them into the record. Name and address for the record, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board.
Mr. Drago, 1 minute. I will be recusing myself from this matter.
Okay, so this brings us to a 5-member board. For approval, you need all members in support. You may take an administrative deferral if you so choose, or you may go ahead.
Madam Chair, I think we'll take the deferral, the administrative deferral. Just to point out for timing, I do know that I believe Mr. Ruggiero and Member Legris will always recuse themselves for this applicant. I'm not sure if there's a time when maybe one is not there that we could have at least a 6-member board. I would go forward.
Okay, may I have a motion for deferral?
Motion to defer.
Is there a second? Fortune?
Aye.
Ehrlich?
Aye.
Dong?
Aye.
Better?
Aye.
Araujo is also aye, so motion for deferral on both cases carries. The date?
So it'll be September 13th at 11:30.
Okay. Thank you very much, members of the board.
Calling the next case, calling BOA 1346888, 110 Sawyer Avenue. This is a renovation kitchen, bath, install new sprinkler system, and a new roof deck. The violation, Article 65, Section 9, floor area ratio is excessive. Article 65, Section 9, the building height is excessive in stories, and Article 65, Section 9, side yard is insufficient. Name and address for the record, please.
Harold, is that you who's representing the applicant? Please put your name and address on the record.
Hey, Harold, I sent a request to unmute you.
Okay, yep, is that correct? All right.
Go ahead, Harold.
Okay, we're taking an existing three-family, it's in bad condition, renovating the property. It has decks in the back, the floor plans are tight, and so we're going to use some of that deck space as extended living space there. There'll be...
So I'm trying to figure out what triggered this, this review by this board. Is that because of the roof deck? Or what's triggering this review?
I think you have FAR, you know, side yard, front yard. You have your whole gamut of zoning violations there.
Okay, are you proposing extension into the basement?
No, basically the basement will be storage space for the 3 units above.
And the side yard insufficiency is an existing side yard insufficiency, or are you proposing anything?
No, it's the existing side yard condition.
Okay, and tell us about the breakdown of the units.
Okay, so basically the first floor is going to have 3-bedroom unit. What we're trying to do is open it up a little bit more versus the old standard standard layout there. So you have a master bedroom, dining room, living room, and you have 2 baths, you have a kitchen, and then you have a smaller deck that's on the back there. Okay. That's unit number 1. Unit number 2 is also the same piece there, 3 bedrooms there. The third unit, 3 bedrooms, again on the top floor. The only thing we have is a roof deck that's on the top, which has great views of the city of Boston there. It will be a hatch open out onto that deck that's there.
Tell us about the dimensions of the deck.
Dimensions of the deck on the roof there?
Yep.
Okay, the dimensions on the roof would be 15 by 20.
And is it accessible to all units or just the top unit?
Yes.
All units. Okay. How are the plans, Ms. Banner?
Madam Chair, the plans are adequate.
Any questions from the board? And Mr. Raymond, this is already has been a 3-family dwelling for as far as the building jacket is concerned?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Is anybody here to speak either in support or in opposition of this proposal?
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Denise DeSantos from the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. We would like to go on record and state that the applicant met with direct abutters back in May of 2022, as well as the Jones Hill Neighborhood Association. They do have direct abutters support. At this time, we would like to defer any judgment to the board. Thank you.
Madam Chair, I have no raised hands.
Okay, given that information, may I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, I'd like to put forward a motion of approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Fortune?
Aye.
Oleg?
Aye.
Dong?
Aye.
Ruggiero?
Aye.
Better?
Aye.
Araujo is also in support, so motion for approval carries.
Calling the next case, calling BOA 129-1696, 61 Linter Street. This is to build a new 2-family, the violation Article 65, Section 32. This is a neighborhood overlay district. Article 65, Section 8, use and regulations. Article 65, Section 9, the floor area ratio is excessive. Article 65, Section 9, the building height is excessive in stories. Article 65, Section 9, the building height is excessive in feet. And Article 65, Section 9, the rear yard is insufficient. Name and address for the record, please.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Fortune, members of the board, Attorney Joseph Feaster. I've driven around the entire neighborhood to get on the internet, but it was not successful, so I'm coming in once again by phone. Joseph Feaster, law firm of Dane Torpy, 175 Federal Street, Suite 1500, Boston. I represent the applicants who for this property at 61 Lyndhurst. Madam Ambassador, I would like for you to have as participants Chris Drew, Joseph Barry, and Lucia McPherson, the two owners, if you would. Members of the board, this is a proposal that originally had been presented as a three-family some time ago. The applicant has gone through extensive neighborhood and abutter discussions. They've met with the Melville Park Neighborhood Association on several occasions, and they have come to alignment and agreement by many of the, or most of the abutters immediately adjacent to this project. It is now a two-family. The unit sizes are 1,766 square feet. And if you would, I would then have the architect, Chris Drew, take you through the project directly.
Thank you, Joe. So just to go through our violations real quick, we are cited for use, which is the two-family and a one-family zone. The FAR is allowed as 0.5, and we're at about a 0.6. The height in stories, this was part of our community process. One thing that we did with this building was we lifted up the first floor pretty much to a line with the existing buildings along the street, which go up about 4 or 5 steps to the first floor itself. So in doing that, of course, it created the height, and the height violation in the stories is because, you know, we are a little more than half of the second floor area below. As far as the rear yard setback, this was something else that we had worked out with the community. We had originally had this building set forward about 4 feet closer to the street, and it met modal. But one desire from the direct abutters was that we push this building back about 4 feet to have better continuity along the street. In doing that, the actual building itself is at about 41.5 setback, and the required is 40. But the doghouse bulkhead and the deck is actually about 36. So that's where the rear yard violation creation is. So the building itself is pretty much within the setback.
Tell us about the rear yard insufficiency.
Yes, so the required...
Yeah, go ahead.
The required is 40. The building itself is set back 41.5 feet from the property line. But what it is it's the two bulkheads and the rear deck it's about 36 feet basically from the back property line.
Okay. And parking is proposed in the rear yard?
Yes, we have two off-street parking spaces at the back access from the right side of the property.
And are these 3 bedrooms at 1766 or 2 beds?
They have 3 bedroom, 2.5 bath units.
Okay. How are the plans, Ms. Better?
Madam Chair, the plans are adequate.
Any questions from the board? Is anybody here to speak either in support or in opposition?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. At this time, the Mayor's Office likes to defer judgment to the board. Our office hosted an abutters meeting on March 21st. Abutters were present and expressed worries regarding paving and potential lack of green space, as well as the setback violations. Our office received 6 letters of support that were contingent upon the property moving 4 feet forward from the rear line. With that, we refer to the board. Thank you.
Madam Chair, Secretary here, we do have a few letters of support and 1 opposition.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Paul Sullivan, City Council at Large, Michael Flaherty, Council to go on record in support.
Sure. Okay. And Madam Chair, I do have a few raised hands here. I'll start with Kim. Go ahead, Kim. Can you state your name and address for the record?
Yes, sure, absolutely. It's Kim DeSense. I live at 52 Lyndhurst Street. Can you hear me well?
Yes, please go ahead.
Wonderful. My only concerns here are I want to make sure that the front of the building is just in line with the other houses in the neighborhood. I believe that was the letter I signed saying that I supported moving the house back, just so the front of the line is in line with the other houses on the street. My other concern is just this is still a very large building, so I know, I mean, I would appreciate if it was smaller, but those are just my two pieces of feedback.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, I do have another raised hand here. Kim, go ahead.
Oh, I just did. I'll lower my hand.
Okay, you all said, I apologize.
Yep.
Darcy, do we hear from you? Okay, your hand is lowered. Jai, we're looking to give testimony here. Can you state your name and address for the record, please?
No, are you speaking to me? Yes. My name is Dorotea Manuela, and I'm a direct abutter to the property at 65 Winter Street. I have two questions. One of them has to do with the excessive height. We have a concern that it's very large and it blocks the light.
So Miss Manuela, we just need to know at this point, because we suspect that through the community process, a lot of this has been discussed. Can you tell us if you're in support or in opposition? And, go ahead.
Opposition.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair, I have no additional reasons.
Okay, given all that information, let's get BPDA on the record.
I actually had my hand raised. Sorry, I think you missed my hand. And I am in support of what Kim mentioned earlier about that.
Can you state your name and address for the record, please?
My name is Janice, 69 Lyndhurst, and I am in agreement with Kim about the size of the building.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Hampton?
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. We're recommending approval with design review. We want to maximize the most usable open space and make sure that the paving is pervious.
Thank you. May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, I'd like to put forward a motion of approval with BPDA design review paying special attention to the parking lot in order to maximize open space.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Fortune?
Aye.
Ehrlich?
Aye.
Dong?
Aye.
Ruggiero?
Aye.
Better?
Aye.
Araujo is also aye, so the motion for approval with design review carries. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Calling the last case for 1030, calling DOA 132-6899, 324 Cornell Street. Just to add a dormer, an alteration to the existing third floor walk-up, and change arch from a two-family to a three-family. The violation is Article 67, Section 8. Three-family is a forbidden use in a 2F 5,000 sub-district, and Article 67, Section 9, the building height is excessive in stories. Name and address for the record, please. Cornell Street.
Hi, if you're on for this hearing, okay, I do have a hand raised here. Heather, are you here for this case?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I was trying to unmute. Good afternoon, Madam Chair and members of the board. My name is Heather Ovison. I am the owner of 324 Cornell Street in Rosendale, and I am looking for relief for two violations. One is it's currently a two-family, and I'm looking to convert it to a three-family, and the height requirement. I'm adding an additional story.
Okay, so a couple of questions. This is a two-family district. You have to rationalize why this should become a three-family, because most of the buildings adjacent to you are two-family. I live not that far away. And so tell us why there's a need for a three-family here.
Sure, it's already actually, it's already a second and third floor, and the third floor is already 270 square feet of finished space and then storage. So what I was looking to do was to convert it to a three-family for a few reasons. One is for additional availability for housing, and then two is just to clean up. It'll allow me to actually clean up the whole building, just the exterior of the building, the backyard, and the garage area.
Okay, so give us more information about the proposed third unit. I'm assuming it's how many square feet is it proposed to be?
Sure. So it's 1,050 square feet. It's going to be an open concept with a kitchen, living and dining, and then there's 2 bedrooms and 1 bath. So the stairs, the stairway from the second to third floor already exists. The front separate entrance already exists. So I would be adding probably like an additional 700 square feet.
Okay, and tell us about the floor to ceiling height.
Sure, floor to ceiling is 8 foot with the third floor.
And so you're proposing through the dormer?
Yes, yeah, so I don't think I'm changing the overall height. What I'm doing is expanding. I think the pitch of it is exactly where it'll stay. It's just the expansion from the dormers.
Okay, and do you have off-street parking?
Yes.
Okay.
So where I'm located on Cornell Street is actually, my backyard is Havana Street. And so it's a private entrance with a driveway and a 2-car garage. So currently I have 2-car garage parking, but I have, 3 to 4 additional spaces, but I don't want to make it a tarp. What I'd like to do is have a green space and parking.
Okay. How are the plans, Ms. Better?
Madam Chair, the plans are adequate. I just want clarification that you're not altering the roof, the existing roof at all?
So...
Because in A5, building section A5, it almost seems like you are altering the roof, so I just want clarification.
Okay. Oh, I see what you mean. You know what, I don't know 100%, I'll have to ask my architect. My understanding was that in the center of the roof where the highest point of the pitch was, we were just gonna extend out and dormer. But I see what you're saying on the plans now.
Yes, so because in your violation, it states excessive height, so I imagine that you are altering the height of the building.
Okay.
Do you know what your new height is?
I know that the first, second, and third floor is 27.6 feet high. I don't know the overall height. I'm on the plans. I'm looking at the plans now.
Okay. I think we need adequate drawings.
Better. This is Tom. Can you hear me? It's better.
Yes.
It's a height violation for stories. It's converting the attic into a story on the 15th paint. But there's no.
Yeah, no. Ms. Better is correct. The proposed pitch has changed, but we don't know, I guess, by how many feet. But let's go on. Are there any questions from the board? Is anybody here to speak in support of this proposal?
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the board. My name is Uju Nochi. I am the Rossendale liaison. We hosted an abutters meeting for this project on June 8th. One of the abutters had concerns over allowing a 2-family and a 3-family zone, and some had issues with density and how it may affect their property. But this could be solved with the fence that was brought up, the idea of an fence. And Heather's team did reach out to their closest neighbor association, but we received no letters of support or opposition for this project. And we'd like to defer judgment to the board.
Madam Chair, I have no raised hands.
Madam Chair, Secretary, here we do have that one letter of opposition the Mayor's office spoke of.
Mr. Ambassador, I see one raised hand.
Yeah, there's a hand. It just popped up 1 second. Dory, name and address for the record, please.
RA 320 Cornell. I'm the direct abutter. I have some reservations in terms of the switching from a 2 to 3 family, given the kind of overall makeup of the neighborhood and the sliding, the future of what this might portend for the neighborhood. So that is my biggest reservation. I was not able to attend the initial abutters Zoom meeting, and based off conversations I've had, it seems like folks have a lot of reservations just in the overall plan and scope. So my biggest reservation for the board to consider is this going from a 2 to 3.
Okay, and as I had mentioned before, I'm not a direct abutter, but I do travel that street a lot. And it is, for the most part, pretty much 1 on one side and 2s on the other side. So this would move it in a new direction. Anyway, given all the information we've had, can I have a motion, please?
I would like to put forward a motion for the applicant to defer to provide just adequate drawings in regards to existing and proposed height of the building.
Ms. Better, isn't the violation that's cited height excessive in terms of stories as opposed to height?
It says excessive. What I have.
It is stories.
It says.
So it doesn't really matter what the height of the roof, does it?
What I have here is it says Article 67, Section 9, building height excessive stories. That's what I have.
Right. So that my point is that it doesn't really matter what the height is if that's the case, because it's not a zoning violation.
Well, it is a zoning.
It is a zoning violation.
But wouldn't it specify building height excessive in feet if it was over the feet?
I have a document from you that says building height excessive with parentheses stories.
Right. That's because they're building an additional story.
It's the equivalent with the dormer and with the change in height, Ms. Better, the equivalent of adding a story.
Right, so all I'm saying is that whatever the roof raising is in terms of foot or two doesn't matter because that's not the violation.
But the applicant could not confirm whether the roof was being lifted. So I don't have enough information in front of me, and we've seen that there's been errors in the past in terms of what's been earmarked by ISD. So I just need to assume if the applicant cannot confirm that the roof is not being lifted, then I need additional information to make a decision.
So the plan suggests that the roof is being lifted, which will result in the equivalent of an additional story, and the use is forbidden. So the question is, do you want to defer this, or since we've heard the bulk of the merits of the case, and we've heard the testimony, should we dispose of this today? I think that's the question for us. So I'm open to a motion.
I would like to put forward a motion to defer, for the applicant to defer.
Okay, is there a second? Okay, there is no second. May I have another motion, please?
I'm going to make a motion for approval with BPDA design review with particular attention to the proposed roof line.
And just to reiterate, we are not granting any relief for a height variance in feet.
Correct.
If they go over the foot requirement, they would have to come back here.
And then this approval also suggests that it's a change of use from a 2 to a 3.
Yes.
Okay, so there's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Fortune?
Aye.
Ehrlich?
Aye.
Dong?
Aye.
Ruggiero?
Aye.
Better?
Oppose.
Araujo is also in opposition because of the change of use from a 2 to a 3 family. So motion is denied. Okay, it is now 12:10.
Madam Chair, before we do that, can I just call it? I can't remember if I called the rediscussions for any deferrals or withdrawals.
Oh, no, please,
and
yes,
I know
that
that
makes
12 o'clock
sense.
is also deferring as well.
Yes, let's go ahead.
So I'm going to call the rediscussions for 11:30. Are there any deferrals or withdrawals for 11:30 only? If you could give me the address first, please.
And just to follow up on Mr. Fortune's request, this is today a 6-member board, and for any applicant, you need 5 members in support for your project to carry. So there is an opportunity to request an administrative deferral.
Are there any deferrals or withdrawals for the rediscussions for 11:30? You can give me the address first, please.
Mr. Fortune, 4 Cherokee Street, Mission Hill.
For the record, calling BOA 128-9454, 4 Cherokee Street. Name and address for the record, please.
Attorney John Pulgini, 10 Forbes Road in Braintree, on behalf of the applicant. We'd be requesting an administrative deferral.
May I have a motion, please?
Make a motion for deferral?
Second.
Fortune,
Aye.
Ehrlich. Mr. Ehrlich?
You're muted.
I'm sorry, I muted, I'm sorry.
All right, okay, Dong?
Aye.
Ruggiero?
Aye.
Better?
Aye.
Rogers also in support. The date, please?
You'll have a date of August 23rd at 11:30.
Mr. Fortune, could we ever push that back another few weeks?
Sure, we can give you 9/27 at
That's
11:30.
perfect. Thank you.
Are there any other deferrals or withdrawals for the 11:30 rediscussion? All right, I'm going to call the 12 o'clock rediscussion. Sorry, not the rediscussion, the
Right.
reconsideration. Is anybody on for 8284 Boston Street?
Yes, Mr. Fortune, Attorney Ryan Spitz from Adams and Moranci.
Thank you. Name and applicant calling the record, calling DOA 1177912, 8284 Boston Street. Name and address for the record, please.
Attorney Ryan Spitz, Adams and Moranci, with the business address of 168 8th Street, Unit 1, South Boston. We're here to request an administrative deferral.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
Make a motion for deferral.
Second.
Fortune,
Aye.
Ehrlich,
Aye.
Dong,
Aye.
Ruggiero,
Aye.
Better,
Aye.
Araujo also in support. The date, please?
That'll be August 23rd at 12 o'clock.
Great, thank you very much.
Okay, so given that, the board will take a break and will reconvene at 12:30.
Recording stopped.